What's good, everybody, man? It's your boy, man, Mr. CDK with Sports Talk Network, and I got my brother in the building again, Free. Hey, Free, man, you know the big news, Floyd Schofield and Shakur Stevenson, the fight is off. We're hearing a lot of rumors, a lot of talk, man. First off, what do you think about the whole situation?
Well, when it first came out, I mean, Floyd, Floyd Schofield's father was saying like Shakur and them had something to do with it. Um, but then I see that he did an interview saying that he's not going to blame Shakur or his team or anything like that. Um, from what it seemed like he had to backtrack what he said because now you're making speculations and you gotta prove that. You can't just put that jacket on somebody without having proof. And it seemed like from what he's saying his body just fell. It seemed like he was having trouble making weight.
And listen, you know what's crazy? Uh, the weight thing first. They showed him on the scale. He was 138. I think 3 days ago. Now I didn't know this, but the British Board of Control, the way they set up, they have to make weight Wednesday and Friday. And from what I'm hearing is a fighter usually has to make weight Wednesday, and then they rehydrate, and then have to go down again for Friday, which is crazy. I've never heard of anything like that, and I think it's real ridiculous, man. I don't understand that. And Eddie Hearn was saying that Southern Turkey's gonna have to work on with them and try to get that rule changed because I feel like too. I think it has something to do with weight. I'm just like you, man, and I feel like that he backtracked with what he said. Schofield Senior did because somebody had to get in his ear and tell him, son. You think somebody told him, hey, man, you making some real accusations that you don't need to be making?
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost certain somebody uh got on the phone with him and said, "Hey, you got to back up what you saying." So you sitting here saying that they had something to do with it. You know, people gonna want to know where the proof is at. So I think he realized that was a big mistake, and he had to go back and retract what he said. That's why I tell people all the time, I want to find out what the facts are before I sit here and put a jacket on somebody because you when you put that jacket on an individual, now you got to go back and try to cover up what you said or fix what you said. So that's why I always tell people I want to find out what all the facts are. And like I said, now it seems like okay, he said his body fell. It looking like he might have had a problem making weight more so than him being food poisoning or anything like that.
Yeah, man, for real. Because at first they were saying somebody rubbed some oil or some kind of cream on him doing a massage. One of Shakur's trainers or whatever. There was a lot of statements, but I don't know. Did you see when Shakur Stevenson came out and said he caught Floyd Schofield Senior in the elevator? Did you see that part? I can't hear you. Did you
My
hear me?
bad.
Okay.
No, my bad. My bad. Yeah.
Did you see where Shakur said that about catching Floyd Schofield Senior in the elevator?
Yeah, no, I didn't see that. I didn't see that about him saying catching.
Okay. He said, I guess it might have been yesterday, getting on the elevator. Him and Senior got in the elevator together. He asked Senior where was Kid Austin at, why he didn't show up to the arrival thing they had going on. And Senior said he wasn't feeling too good. Now, Shakur Stevenson has been saying, Eddie Hearn said for weeks now, that they wasn't gonna fight him, that they wasn't gonna take the fight, they wasn't gonna go through with it. And he said, once Senior told him that, it kind of confirmed that the fight wasn't gonna happen. He went to Eddie Hearn and told
Come
Eddie
on, little
Hearn
girl.
they're not
Hold
gonna
on.
fight me. One second, Frank Free had to jump off. He'll be back. But yeah, a lot of things being said. Basically about
Yeah, my
yeah,
bad. My
it's
bad.
okay. Yeah, Shakur Stevenson said, what I'm saying, that he talked to he kind of pressed, that's his words, he pressed Senior in the elevator, and Senior told him that he was not gonna that Floyd wasn't gonna be able to show up to the event because he was sick. He said he went back to Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn confirmed that, hey man, the fight's not gonna happen, man. They're not gonna fight me. But he's been saying for weeks now that they didn't really want to take the fight, that this was nothing but a publicity stunt. So how you feel about that?
About going after Tank.
No, he said Shakur said this was a publicity stunt. They never really wanted to fight. He said he talked to Senior yesterday, and he knew they weren't gonna fight.
I don't know if it was a publicity stunt because why would you go all the way over there? That's a flight that he flew all the way over cross seas just to say I don't want to fight. No, I don't think it's a publicity stunt. I just think the man just couldn't make weight.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think it was weight, but if he can't make weight, if he got sick behind making weight, what do you think should be his next move? Do you think they need to go ahead and move to 140? And how does he look at 140?
Um, yeah, I think he probably does need to go to 140 because if you look at Floyd Schofield's junior,
Mhm.
he's kind of big for 135.
Yeah,
Like I've always thought he was a 140-pound fighter. It wasn't until maybe a year or two ago that I realized that he was a 135-pound fighter. I always thought he was much bigger than Shakur and Tank and all those guys.
definitely. The guy. I mean, for a young man, the young man definitely looks like he should be at 140, maybe even 147. I mean,
I
Floyd
was about to say that.
Schofield he's a big
Yeah.
young man. But just say for instance he does go to 140. How does he fare against those fighters, the elite at 140? Is he ready for those guys?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think he'll be ready for some of them. I don't know about the top of the division because he only got what 14 fights. He's still learning. Um, he's only 22 years old, so he's still got a long way ahead of him. So I don't know if he's ready for the top of the division, but for the guys in the middle and lower class, yeah, I think he'll do well with those guys because of his style of fighting. He likes to fight. He likes to bang. I think he'll do well with those guys. He might even be a little bit stronger being at that weight class, so he might even be better than what he is at 135.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. But the only thing maybe I don't know how a fight between him and somebody like and similar styles. Do you think he has like a similar style kind of to Antoine Russell?
A similar style.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at their styles, do you think they both seem like they're from that type of almost like the Sean Porter school? I call it. They're both aggressive. To me, aggressive fighters. The way they move and stuff, they kind of to me resemble Sean Porter a little bit. His style of fighting. I think Antoine does have a little more boxing skills than Sean Porter. And in actuality, I think his boxing skills might be a little better. What do you think about that? Both of their styles? You think they match?
Yeah, I mean it's a similar. You could put them in the same ballpark. I think the difference between Antoine and Kid Austin is Antoine has more boxing ability,
Yeah.
and I think he has more defense. Kid Austin gets hit a lot, and like if Kid Austin was to fight somebody like Antoine, I don't know if Kid Austin make it out of that fight because he gets hit a lot with a lot of big shots. So
He,
I
he
don't, I
definitely
don't know if
gets
he'll
hot.
make it out.
Yeah, he gets hit a lot. You're right with him. He does get caught with big shots. Uh, I just don't like the slack that I feel like Shakur Stevenson is getting right now. He can't control what's happening, and I see some of these boxing columnists or something saying Shakur. Just like I'm reading one now where it says Shakur Stevenson gets to choose an easier fight. We know that he's gonna be taking on Josh Padley. From what I'm hearing, Padley he's undefeated. From what I've seen, you gonna say what's good,
Hmm.
my brother Price? He's undefeated. I think 16-0, something like that, with only 4 knockouts. It was another guy they wanted him to fight, but they said they couldn't make the fight and get the guy over there in time. What do you think about people saying that Shakur Stevenson basically they're trying to? Some of these people trying to accuse him too. I mean, what do you think about that? As far as Shakur Stevenson getting slack for this, what's going on?
Um, I mean, it's his own doing. I mean, he
Mhm.
he went and signed over there with Eddie Hearn when we all knew that Eddie Hearn didn't have no fighters for him. The only
Right.
fighter he got over there at 135 outside of the UK fighters is Andy Cruz. That's the only 135-pound guy he got. So we knew that. I mean, when he signed over there, the first fight that he had lined up was Joe Cordina.
Yeah.
So it's not like that. This is something that we didn't know off the jump. Everybody knew this. That's why everybody was like, "Why are you signing with Eddie Hearn? There's nobody at 135 for you with Eddie Hearn except for Andy Cruz." So that was part of his own doing. He should have signed the one fight deal with PBC or signed the two fight deal with Oscar to get the Williams Zepeda fight. He could have had that fight and a rematch or whatever, or he could have signed a one fight deal and had a Tank Davis fight. So it's kind of somewhat of his own doing.
Definitely. But let me ask you this though, because I heard somebody, I said kind of the same thing you said to somebody, and they said something to me that kind of makes sense. They said that would usually be the case, but with Turkey Al-Sheikh being, basically the one that's really calling the shots now, that you basically can sign with anybody and still be able to make these big fights happen.
No, you can if the fighters are willing to fight. It don't
Right.
matter. It don't matter who calling the shot. If the
Yeah.
fighters don't want to fight, they're not gonna fight. So people that say, "Oh, Turkey's gonna make the fight." No, Turkey's not gonna make the fight. He has a good chance of making the fight. The same way as if these two guys were signed to PBC. Al Heyman has a good chance of making the fight, but it's not a guarantee that the fight is gonna happen. They could be under Bob Arum. It's not a guarantee that the fight is gonna happen.
Right.
It's a good chance of it happening, but not a guarantee.
Yeah, I agree with you because we've seen many of fighters be on the same side of the street, as they like to say, and never fight each other.
Yeah.
Never. I believe I don't know no because Top Rank Timothy Bradley he was with Top Rank and Earl Spence was with Al Hammond and PBC. So that ain't a good example. But we have seen fighters on the same side of the road and the fight never takes place. Keith
I mean,
Thurman and Earl Spence.
you could do. I'm about to say you could do Keith Thurman and Earl Spence.
Definitely, yep. Keith Thurman and Earl Spence. That fight should have took place and it never happened. And they still arguing about that to this day with Earl basically saying Keith ducked him
I
and
mean,
it goes on
you
and
can
on.
look at daggone Andre. I mean, Bubu Andrade and Canelo Alvarez. Never
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. Never happened. Yeah, it never happened. Andrade, he went over there to the zone, didn't he, thinking that he was gonna get that Canelo fight.
Yep. He went over
That's why
there
he
and
went
then
over there.
and then he signed with the PBC and still didn't get it when Canelo signed with the PBC. He still
So
ain't get it.
yeah, yeah. He tried to chase that man down, and it never worked. And he really kind of held up his career, doing what he did, trying to chase behind him. I've been listening, like I said, with that fight now. I don't know how the odds gonna look on that fight with Shakur Stevenson and Padley. I don't know too much about this guy. I don't know if you know too much about him as well. Do you know anything
Oh,
about this?
yeah, I know about him. He the last fight that he was in, he
Mark?
beat the dude. Yeah, Martin. Um, that was the dude that was supposed to be up for either Loma or it was up for Shakur as a title fight. I think they was going to give him the title fight over Keyshawn Davis. They was going to give him the title fight, but he ended up losing to this dude, and so Keyshawn stepped right in as the number one contender. So
Okay.
that's where he came from.
So do you give him a chance against Shakur, or do you think this is a wash?
Hell no, I don't give him no chance. Though that man got 4 knockouts. That man literally hasn't fought anybody outside of the last dude that he fought. No, if you go look at his resume, if you look at the guys that he fought, the records that they had, it was like we was going through that joint yesterday and early this morning. One dude is like 5-81. Another dude is like 2-53. Another guy's like 16-27. I'm like, dog, who the heck was he fighting?
So he fighting people just basically coming off the streets, basically to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't give him no chance. That the only chance I give him the chance that I gave the dude that knocked out Jaime Magia. If he happened to land a good shot like that dude did, maybe he stopped Shakur. I mean, the dude that Jaime fought only had 4 knockouts as well. He was 25-0 with 4 knockouts. Never fought outside of France. Somehow he was able to land a shot on Jaime and knock him out cold. Maybe
Yeah,
this dude does the same thing. I don't see it, but maybe he does the same thing.
yeah, this is crazy. I just think it's a bad rap for Shakur. He's in a bad situation. And Floyd Schofield, I kind of agree with you. I know Floyd Schofield really wanted this, not just the payday, but the opportunity. But he has a small child, and he was really looking forward to being able to, you know, get this fight and provide for his family, as he said. So I definitely don't
Yeah,
think that he pulled out of the fight or anything like that. It would be crazy to take that plane trip all the way over there just to pull out of a fight.
yeah, because they've been over there for like a week or two. I mean
Hmm.
that's a whole waste of time. You could have sat here in the states and got a fight in the states that are going all the way over, because you got to think about it. They said, oh, it was a cloud chase and so he wasted his time and promoters' money to go all the way over there, the not get the fight and come back with the same lint in his pocket that he went over there with.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
man ain't make no money out of the deal. He
No, he didn't.
went over there empty-handed, came back empty-handed. So
Man,
I mean that's stupid. Now I could see if he drove 3 hours up the highway and he went from New York to New Jersey or somewhere, or Philly, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get this fight, and then all of a sudden, oh, I don't feel good, I don't want to fight." That's different. That's only 3 hours away. But you talking about flying a plane, 16-hour flight across seas
yeah.
to get over to Saudi Arabia just to come back and say, nah, we ain't gonna do it. Nah, ain't nobody doing all that.
Nope, they're not. They're not. And I 100% agree with you. The one thing I can say though, this could be a blessing in disguise for Floyd Schofield, being that me personally, I thought it was too early in his career for this type of step up in competition. Everybody wants to do what they want to do, and he's his own man, and he knows where he's at as far as his skill level. But do you think this is going to help him or hurt him in the long run?
I don't think it's gonna do either. I don't think it's gonna do either. I mean, if it does anything, it probably help him because he could say, you know what, I was that close to actually achieving one of my goals, and because my body didn't allow me to go through, I couldn't go through with it. So now it might make him more hungry to get the title fight. So maybe it helps him, but I don't think it does either because he didn't lose anything, he didn't gain anything. Nobody was really checking for Kid Austin like that. So ain't
Yeah,
nobody really going to be not checking for Kid Austin because there wasn't nobody really checking for him. And
right,
so
right, yeah.
he's number
Uh,
2 in the WBA. So it's not like he's that far out of getting a title shot. He's number 2 against Tank Davis. So he can turn around and get a Tank Davis fight in a couple of fights.
yeah, definitely. And this is the thing. With Kid Austin, as you were saying now, I think in the long run, he's talking about his dad was talking about hey, we're next up in line to face Tank, and we're gonna get the fight, but we know how that goes. We know people gonna be next in line and might not get a fight for 2 or 3 years, and he definitely not gonna have 2 or 3 more years at the 135-pound division.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even if he gets that fight, I don't see him. I don't see him making it past 7 rounds with Tank Davis. I just don't
Yeah,
see it.
yeah. I don't either. I don't see him getting past 7 rounds for Tank. I think his style of the way he comes in and stuff, I think Tank will catch him with a big shot, and I think that fight will end real soon. I think he's one of those styles that I think is tailor made for Tank.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. But what do you think now? Uh, Once Shakur take care of business, which we both got him taking care of business in this fight, what do you think he got to do next? He's with Eddie Hearn. What does he got, a 1, 2, 3 fight deal? What is his deal looking like with Eddie Hearn?
Well, I think it's a 2-fight deal. So this fight right here should count as one of his fights, and then he has one more fight because according to Eddie Hearn, after this fight, they're going to be pushing for the Tank Davis fight when he could have just did that from the very beginning instead of going taking all these other bogus fights. He could have just pushed for the Tank Davis fight. But according to Eddie Hearn, they're going to push for the Tank Davis fight, and that's the fight that they want next. But we got to see how he look in this fight because, like I said, even though we're not giving this dude no chance, we do still got to remember that Shakur Stevenson is coming off a hand surgery on both his hands, so we don't know how well his hands gonna hold up. So yeah, he could say he's going for the Tank Davis fight after this, but he might not make it out of this fight.
You're right about that. You're right. His hands are going to be a big issue, and we see how his hands is looking. They still look swole. Uh, man, I hate that because I don't know what he could do. I think he definitely needs to get with somebody like Floyd Mayweather that had hand problems, that knows, you know what I'm saying, and see what he done. Because this is a very bad issue with his hands, the way it's going.
Yeah, but the problem is, I don't think he's ever faced anybody as dangerous like Floyd. I don't think Floyd faced anybody as dangerous as Tank Davis with brittle hands. I think the closest fighter you could get to Tank Davis with those brittle hands is probably
Wait, let me see. Miguel Cotto, Manny Pacquiao. I'm just going through the list of people he faced that maybe had power or whatever.
yeah.
Miguel,
I don't think the closest person maybe Canelo Alvarez, but Canelo Alvarez wasn't on this level.
no, Canelo definitely wasn't on his level at that time. But
I'm thinking maybe Canelo Alvarez because Miguel Cotto, yeah, he was a puncher, a boxer puncher, but he wasn't a knockout artist like Tank Davis. Like none of those guys was knockout artists like Tank Davis outside of maybe Canelo at that time. Canelo was knocking everybody out at that time, so maybe Canelo was the only person that was close to being on the level of what type of puncher Tank is with Floyd having brittle hands. But I mean, like I said, I don't even think Canelo was on this level, but because Canelo's not the boxer that Tank Davis is.
definitely. I'm just hoping Shakur, whatever he does, he might need to get a real assessment of his hands after this situation. But we're gonna find out, like you said, with the person he's fighting. I don't think there will be too much resistance. I don't think he'll have a hard fight where he's gonna have to press down. You know what I'm saying? Really dig deep. I don't see him having to dig deep in this fight at all. I think I heard the guy talking on the. He said he was on his way on the phone talking about he's on his way to cause havoc and to pull an upset. But I definitely don't see no upset happening.
Who about to pull an upset?
That's what the guy said. He was on the phone, and he said he was on his way. I was listening to him. He was talking to somebody, and he was just saying like he's on his way to cause havoc and to pull upset. But we know that's not happening.
I mean, he could possibly pull an upset if Shakur is looking at him like, man, this I was preparing to fight for Kid Austin, and I got to fight him, and he's not even on the level of a Kid Austin. Maybe he can pull out an upset because Shakur overlooked him, but I don't know.
Definitely. What we was talking about Tank and Tank. I was telling you what Tank said about Floyd trying to sabotage his career, and it came down to his daughter or whatever, and Tank was saying that the daughter basically was, texting him and stuff on Snapchat and all that. But he said that's where really the hate started with him and Floyd, or Floyd. That's what made Floyd start trying to really, sabotage his career. Do you think Floyd really wanted to sabotage Tank's career?
I think it could have been some truth to it because maybe if Floyd thought that Tank was trying to get with his daughter or whatever, maybe when we don't know how Floyd feel about his kids, so he could be one of those overprotective father when it comes to his daughters and stuff like that. So he could have said, "Oh, this dude trying to do this with my daughter. All right, I got something for him." Because I mean, now we have a little bit of evidence of what Tank was talking about when he said that they was trying to set him up when he had the Pedraza fight, because he said Floyd was trying to put him in a fight under short notice, coming off a long layoff. So because he thought that Tank was trying to get with his daughter. So maybe he has some truth to that. I don't know. But now we understand what Tank was talking about when he said he felt like they set me up.
Yeah, definitely. Because at first I couldn't understand where he was coming from with the set me up part of it. I thought he was saying like, you know, in a sense he said too that Floyd he had been out of the ring for 7 or 8 months, and Floyd told him either you take this fight or I'm putting you on the shelf. So I can understand. But Tank said the reason that he's kind of mad at Shakur, based on the other fighters he was saying in the senses, he talked to a lot of those guys and let them know what was going on with him and Floyd's situation. And really, he feels like, in a sense, that he's the reason they didn't sign with Floyd, because he put him up on game. So he kind of feels disrespected when they talking about they want to fight him and stuff.
Yep. And that's what I was talking about yesterday when I said Shakur somewhat have Tank to thank for his career, because if he would have signed to Floyd at the same time Tank was there, it's no telling that Shakur would have been a 3 division champion, because at that time Floyd was spending all his focus on Tank. He wasn't spending no focus on nobody else. So there's no telling that Shakur would have been a 3 division champion. So he might have a lot to thank Tank about.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Him, Devin Haney, and the rest of them. I'm looking on the MGM, Bet MGM right now, and they don't even have Shakur fight on there anymore. I was trying to see. I was hoping that we could get some odds and see how this new fight was gonna look, but they might not even have Shakur on there now before we fight.
They probably not gonna put it on there because, for one, this is a last minute fight, and for two, this dude is probably not deserving to be in a fight with Shakur. So they probably say, you know what, we're not gonna make no money off of this. Let's go ahead and just put this to the side.
Yeah. You would have to bet on a knockout, I'm sure, to even have an opportunity. And the odds of that, would still be crazy. I'm sure it would still be negative, son. Because I'm sure that Vegas is thinking that Shakur's going to take care of business and make it look like easy work.
I'm gonna say it like this. I mean, if Shakur was ever going to get a knockout and ever want to call a knockout in his fight, this is probably the fight that he can do it. He could probably say, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and knock this dude out," and he probably can knock him out. But because I don't think that this guy is on that level, but I mean, maybe this dude pull out an upset and surprise everybody. I'm just not banking on it.
Yeah, like you said, anything's possible. Everybody that gets in the ring has a puncher's chance. I feel like everybody has a puncher's chance. I don't know how much of a puncher's chance he has, but he's getting the opportunity of a lifetime. I wonder if he even making the same. Do you think, like, when somebody comes in, steps in, do they usually get the same purse as the person? Somebody just asked me that. Do they get the same purse as the person that was, pulled out of the fight?
That I don't know. I know Shakur still gets his same purse. I'm not sure about the guy that's, but maybe they can. Maybe they can say, okay, look, you need a fight. I'm available. You can give me the same purse that this guy was going to get, or you just have to cancel that fight. So maybe they have some type of leverage because it's the last minute. I don't know.
And maybe sometimes you can ask for more because you hold the leverage.
Yeah, but you gotta be somewhat of a name to ask for a little bit more. Like if he was fighting Kid Austin and Kid Austin had to pull out, and then Frank Martin was left available to fight, maybe Frank Martin could say, "Hey, well,
Yeah.
I step in, but you got to give me a little bit more than what you was giving Kid Austin. I'm a bigger name than Kid Austin." Maybe that can happen, but I don't know. I can't. I've never been in that situation. I don't know nobody that was in that situation to even
Right.
ask him how would it go down.
Yeah, somebody had just texted me that because they was listening. They would ask me, but okay, what about? Do you think Andy Cruz would have been a better option? Do you think Andy Cruz would have took the fight right now?
No, Andy Cruz just came off a fight, like
Yeah.
maybe a month ago, maybe not even a month ago.
No, I don't think it's been a month. I don't think it's been a
Yeah, so
month.
no, I don't think Andy Cruz would have took that fight because it was too close. Because I saw somebody else said that too. I'm like, Andy Cruz just fought a couple of weeks ago. Like
Yeah.
y'all want Andy Cruz to get in there with Shakur? He literally just fought a couple of weeks ago.
There's not enough time. It's definitely not enough time in the situation. But do you think there's a fight that Eddie Hearn should think about making next?
I mean, if he's not gonna make it with
with Shakur, he definitely need to be sitting there trying to figure out how he make it with Keyshawn.
Yeah, but he okay. Well, Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn said he's definitely going to fight Andy Cruz before he leaves the 135-pound division. He just recently said that. He said there's no doubt about it. They're going to fight before he leaves. But do you think it's going to be easier to make that fight with Shakur because they're under the same banner?
It's easier to make it because they under the same umbrella. But it still comes down to how these guys both these guys gonna want to play ball, because Shakur could say he won a certain amount of money, and Andy Cruz could say he won a certain amount of money. To be honest with you, it ain't really no money there between the two guys. Between
Yeah, it's not.
Shakur and Andy Cruz, that fight probably generates somewhere around $3 million.
Yeah, maybe, and that might be stretching it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that might be
stretching.
stretch. I'm talking
Yeah.
about I'm talking about everything involved. I mean, maybe $3 million it generates. I don't know, but yeah, that I don't see that fight being that big of a fight. I don't know. Did I freeze? Mm-hmm. Oh, that was TDK. He froze. What's going on, Pride?
Shortage, man. I just realized that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my laptop is plugged up this whole time. I just realized I got a shortage in my cord. It must jump straight out on me. I don't know what happened, but I had it plugged up. I had to check it. I seen the cord wasn't the light wasn't on or whatever. The light was not on, so I apologize for that. Yeah, man, definitely, man. But we got 3 more days for these fights. I'm just ready for them to happen. See how it plays out. I definitely want to see where Shakur goes from here, what his next move be. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping that Andy Cruz and Keyshawn, I really want to see them fight within the next 1 or 2 fights, maybe 3 at the most.
Yeah, because for one, Keyshawn is getting a little bit too big for that weight class, and Andy Cruz is getting a little too old. So you want to try to get that when the fighting is hot, because Keyshawn not going to be at that weight class too much longer. Andy Cruz is just getting older. I mean, we don't know when Father Time going to hit for Andy Cruz, because he's already 30 years old.
Oh, he's 30 already?
Yeah, he came in, him and Tank Davis the same age.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot, because he came from over there in Cuba. He was over, Cuba, right?
Yeah, he came in. When he came in, he was 27.
Yeah, so he needs the big fights already. He's got to go ahead. He's on like a time where he has to really accelerate everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he don't have a lot of time to play around. He gonna have to figure out, every move from now on out. Basically, for him, he's gonna have to start taking the big fights. And I think he's one of those guys that can't go back to Cuba, right?
You say he can't go back to who? Oh, Cuba.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, because I don't know if Morrell can go back or not. I don't know if they the guys that came over here that basically snuck over here and can't go back. A lot of times they do that, and they might be 2 guys that can't go back. So if they are, they definitely got to go ahead. That might be why Morrell pushed for the fight with Benavidez as fast as he did. They don't have time to play around.
Well, yeah, I think, but a lot of times with those guys, I don't think them niggas be wanting to go back.
No, they definitely don't want to go back.
They say, man, we
don't want to go back.
It's terrible over there.
I've heard too many of them say, we ain't going back. You know what I'm saying? And I think, I don't know which one of them was, but I think one of them snuck over here. Matter of fact, I think it was Andy Cruz that had to sneak over here, basically, get by boat or whatever. But I know I think I heard something recently where they said he did sneak over here, which is crazy that they're not allowed to come over here and make money, as they should be able to do.
Yeah.
Does the amateur boxing pay over in Cuba?
Huh?
Do they pay their fighters in Cuba, the amateur boxers?
That I don't know. Probably not. Probably not, because a lot of those guys, that's one of the reasons why they be wanting to get away, because they want to make a living for their family, and it's hard living over there. So if they was getting paid, I don't think they'd be so pressed to leave, because they don't get paid the amateur fight over here.
They definitely don't. They definitely don't. You're right about that. Man, they don't get that. That's crazy. But man, listen up, everybody. Man, this is your boy CDK with my brother Free. Are we doing anything tonight, Free? Anything that people need to know?
Yeah, we gonna be live tonight at 8 o'clock or VBO boxing. It's Wednesday, so yeah, we're gonna be live tonight.
Y'all heard that, man. So tune in tonight. We'll be there. You know what I'm saying? Be there, be square, and get ready for an exciting weekend. Man, I had a car wreck last night, right?
You said you got what? Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that last night.
Yeah, somebody ran me off the road, man. They ran me off the road. They was going fast in the snow. That car started spinning and circling. Next thing you know, they was coming towards me and two more cars. So I had to, it was either that car hit me or go into the bushes. I chose the bushes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, at
Yeah,
least
but
you healthy.
yeah, that's the main thing. That's the main thing. That was more my concern than anything.
Right,
Everything else gonna be all right.
right.
Well, everybody,
Uh,
hey, y'all tune in tonight at 8 o'clock. We out.
we out. Peace.
Peace.